People who love cats are often called distant or antisocial, but psychology suggests something very different. Cat lovers often share a personality trait most people never notice, and once you understand it, cat lovers suddenly make a lot more sense. If you love cats, some of this might feel instantly familiar. Maybe you enjoy quiet environments more than loud ones. Maybe you feel comfortable being alone without feeling lonely. Maybe you've always felt that animals are easier to understand than people. And psychology says this pattern isn't random. And once you understand why, cat lovers suddenly make a lot more sense. It may have a lot to do with the way your brain responds to independence, subtle emotional signals, and low-pressure connection. Psychologists often describe part of this pattern using something called autonomy preference. It simply means some people feel most comfortable in relationships where both sides maintain independence. Not constant attention, not constant reassurance, not non-stop interaction, just trust, space, and mutual respect. And that's exactly how cats behave. Cats don't constantly demand your attention. They show affection in quieter, more selective ways. And for certain personalities, that kind of relationship feels incredibly natural. But here's where it gets more interesting. People who love cats often score higher in something psychologists call openness to experience. This trait is linked to curiosity, imagination, emotional awareness, and comfort with complexity. In other words, these are often people who appreciate things that aren't immediately obvious, and cats are exactly like that. Dogs are easier to read. They are expressive, energetic, emotionally obvious. Cats are different. They communicate through subtle signals, a slow blink, a shift in posture, the moment they decide to sit beside you instead of across the room. Understanding a cat requires attention, and people high in openness to experience tend to enjoy that kind of quiet complexity. But this isn't the only reason cat lovers think differently. Many of them also value something psychologists call quiet companionship. Not constant stimulation, not constant conversation, just presence. Think about how cats behave. They don't need to entertain you. They simply stay near you, sometimes on the couch, sometimes beside you while you work. And for many people, that kind of companionship feels incredibly calming because it allows connection without pressure. But it goes deeper than that. Cats don't respond well to control. You can't force a cat to trust you. You can't demand affection. If a cat trusts you, it's because you earned it. And people who love cats often value the same thing in relationships. They prefer trust that develops naturally, not relationships built on pressure, not constant emotional proof. Once trust exists, it tends to be very strong. Now here's something most people never think about. Cat lovers often have strong emotional perception. They notice subtle emotional signals others miss, a small shift in someone's tone, a hesitation in someone's voice, a quiet change in someone's mood. Cats communicate in subtle ways too, so people who naturally notice quiet signals often connect with them more easily. They understand the quiet language cats use, and sometimes that kind of communication feels more genuine than loud displays of emotion. But loving cats doesn't mean avoiding people. That's the stereotype. The deeper truth is often simpler. Cat lovers often value depth over noise. They may not enjoy chaotic social environments, but when they connect with someone, the connection tends to be meaningful. They often prefer a few close relationships rather than many shallow ones. And psychology suggests this kind of relationship style often leads to stronger emotional bonds over time. So, when someone says cat lovers are antisocial, they're usually misunderstanding the psychology behind it. It's not about avoiding connection, it's about preferring a quieter kind of connection, one built on trust, subtle communication, emotional safety, and mutual independence. That's not emotional distance, that's emotional selectivity. If you love cats, see if these sound familiar. You enjoy calm environments more than chaotic ones. You feel comfortable being alone without feeling lonely. You notice emotional details other people miss. You prefer a few meaningful relationships rather than many shallow ones. You value trust that develops naturally. And animals sometimes feel easier to understand than people. If that sounds like you, your brain may simply be wired to appreciate quieter forms of connection. So, if you've ever been told that loving cats makes you distant or antisocial, remember this: you're not avoiding connection, you're just drawn to a different kind of connection, one built on trust, quiet understanding, and mutual independence. And that kind of connection can be incredibly powerful. But here's something fascinating. Some people love cats, and some people strongly prefer dogs, and those two groups often have very different personality patterns. In the next video, we're going to explore the psychology of people who prefer dogs over cats, why their brains approach relationships differently, and what that reveals about how they connect with others. If you're curious about that difference, click the next video on the screen. And if you enjoy psychology explained like this, subscribe for more insights into the hidden patterns behind human behavior.